Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to talk about solving inequalities today. So as we're going through, remember we solve inequalities just like we do equations, except there's one little thing we change, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So we're going to solve and graph each solution. So to get x by itself, we're going to go ahead and subtract 5 from both sides. So we're going to get x is greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so that is the solve part, and then the graph part, remember, we go ahead and put our number is our center number. I'm going to do 1 below, which would be 0 in this case, sorry about that, and 1 above, which is 2. Remember, if we have a greater than or equal to or a less than or equal to, we have a closed dot. And if we have a greater than or less than, we have an open dot. So in this case, we would go ahead and have a closed dot. And this says x is bigger than 1. Okay, so that means we're going to go this direction. Now, one big mistake I see students say, they say, oh, the arrow points that way, so I go this way. That only works if x is on the left-hand side of the inequality. So make sure we're actually thinking like, oh, a number bigger than 1 here would, like 2 would work here and be true. 3 would work here and be true. That's why we're highlighting this way. Okay, so please, please, please be careful with that. Go ahead, why don't you try this one? You won't have to graph on the Edpuzzle, but you should graph it on your paper before you submit. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add 7 to both sides. So we get x is less than or equal to 25. And again, we're going to go ahead and graph this, and we put our number in the center. And we'll go 1 higher and 1 lower with our little arrows at the end here. And again, this is going to be a closed dot. And it says x is smaller than 25 because the alligator mouth always eats the bigger number. So I'm going to go ahead and go this way. Okay. Let's practice another one. So we are going to go ahead and say what's stopping x from being by itself. That would be the 3 and the negative 2. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 3 from both sides. So we get negative 2x is greater than or equal to positive 2. Next up, we're going to divide by a negative 2. Now this is where inequalities are different. When we multiply or divide by a negative, we have to flip the inequality. So this cancels out. We're left with x. Flip the inequality to go the other direction, and then 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1. So we flip that inequality if we multiply or divide by a negative number, and that means this bottom number is negative. So if this had been a negative 2, that wouldn't have changed anything. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and graph it because we are always going to graph those solutions. So we have negative 1, negative 2, and 0, and we're going to have a closed dot again today. And we're going to go ahead and x is less than negative 1, so I want numbers smaller like negative 2, negative 3, so on and so forth. Okay? Just as a recall here, we're going to distribute this. Okay? So we'd have negative 3x plus 15 is greater than or equal to 6. So go ahead and solve it from there. I would go ahead and subtract my 15, which would give me negative 3x is greater than or equal to negative 9. We're going to go ahead and divide by negative 3. And because we're dividing by a negative, we go ahead and flip that sign. And so negative 9 divided by negative 3 is a positive 3. And we flipped our inequality from this to this. And then, as always, we're going to go ahead and graph it. So we're going to have a 3 here, a 2 here, and a 4 here. It's going to be a closed dot, and its x is less than 3. So we're going to go ahead and draw our arrow going that direction. Okay? The rest of that is for day 2, so we will talk to you later. Bye.